I am Coach Sess, motivated and determined, and you are listening to Words with a Mad Coach. It's probably because I didn't do the podcast on Saturday, on Friday, and I've decided to do this because the producer from the Fight for It show wants to do a live broadcast tomorrow. He wants to do it from YouTube. He wants to do it from Zoom. So I don't know which one he wants to use. So I said, well, I better practice because I'm used to doing the audio, but I'm not used to doing live video. Usually because it's time consuming. I'm on the road a lot, so that means tomorrow I'm probably going to sit down. I did a live with Dylan McGrath and Chaz Bryant recently, but I was at the gym. The Wi-Fi was a little, different or whatever. So I said, well, I'll try to do this one with Jason McGinnis, the producer of the show. So we'll do this one tomorrow, and I'll do it from my studio. So I figured I'd just give it a shot because I missed on Friday. I got sick, and then early in the week, someone tried to jack my my bank card. So I had to have my accounts frozen rather. And so I was like, you know what? That put a monkey wrench on a lot of things, but it also made me smarter because I said, okay, I need to come up with some alternate backup plans for all these things. I did say this year I am going to find a co-host for the show, and so that if I can't do it, I prefer that we do it together, but if I can't do it, one of us will always be on. So 1 year so good so far, but I like to have a co-host this year for the rest of 2025. I said we were going to sponsor a fighter every month, and we did sponsor one, but I know Clay Johnson, you like to come on every once in a while and check us out. The money is coming, but when the accounts is unfrozen, all right. And I wanted to also, since Jason wants to talk about the show tomorrow, I want to be able to talk about what you see below. Fight for It 24. Get your tickets. Go to the website, and you can get hooked up. You get the stream or show up in person, especially if you're local. And he and I are going to talk about some of the fighters, some of the action, some of the things that have happened in the past, and where the company is going and what we can do to improve things and move forward. And I want to talk about combat sports from this weekend. I've said it last week that the fight game is booming. There's an explosion, and you saw it this past weekend. Even if you didn't see it like in every area, but I saw tough man contests. I saw local professional wrestling, not just WWE and AEW, but local professional wrestling. They got this thing now because Royal Rumble was on. I kid you not. You can find it. It wasn't great, but it made me laugh because they had it. There was like a Royal Rumble for MMA, and it's like an open mat, but you can like get rid of the person by simply making them touch the out of bounds area. I didn't enjoy it too much, but I saw the potential in it. That's what the fun part was. I was like, there's some potential in that, where they could be. It could be something if they, like, for instance, I would go with a knockdown rule rather than you touch the area and get put out. Whether you get knocked down, that would be more interesting because it would cause more action. But like I said, we had boxing. Oh man, Benavides and Morrell, that was amazing. And I only watched like probably the best fight. Of course, we had UFC, and we had everything, that basically fed into it leading up to the weekend, like one championship. So a lot of combat sports happening right now. I've been talking about that for some time. Like it's booming. It's back, especially here in the Carolina area. A lot of the local shows from in the Southeast region are Rocket Combat Sports, NFC. A lot of these shows are making their presence felt, and it's a good thing because it's going to mean that fighters are going to get more opportunities, and we wish them the best. And because fighters can't get to the UFC, PFLs and one championships, Ryzen, whatever. They can't get there without the local, without fighting. And where they're gonna fight, they're gonna fight locally, the regionally. That's what they need, because you got to kind of get that foot in the door locally, and then you got to get into the regional shows like Cage Fury, Fury Fighting, LFAs, the ones that feed into the UFCs, the ones that get you that recognition because it's a bigger platform, and you're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And maybe you make it onto Contender, maybe you make it onto looking for a fight, or maybe somehow if you have a management team behind you, you get that call to go to Ryzen overseas. They're always looking for new faces. If you think about what you're seeing in combat sports right now, is you're seeing so much new, so much different, and to me, I wanted to talk about the WWE, because the one thing that they had this past weekend is new. They had a lot of new. You saw it in the Women's Royal Rumble. You saw it in Cody taking on Kevin Owens. It was a lot of new stuff happening. And something's wrong. But a lot of new stuff that was going on. A lot of new that was really good. And I was proud to see like the WWE Royal Rumble end the way it ended, with Jey Uso becoming not champion, but becoming the representative for the Royal for what is it, WrestleMania. Yeah, he's gonna fight for the title. You can tell I don't watch as much wrestling as I used to growing up, but let's talk about some of that. Let's talk about first like Charlotte coming back to win the Royal Rumble for the women. I thought that was good. I thought that was really good because it's like she's been gone for like a year and a half, and then she comes back, because I have been checking out some of the pro wrestling since last WrestleMania, and so I was familiar with some of the women, some of the storylines. And when you have Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley needs someone her size, her strength, and Jade's hurt. She's playing the role of a face, so you don't want to put in, Naomi and the EST. You don't want to do that, because it's like, well, then it's too much, conflict. It's confusing. Also, they're the tag champs, so they might have their own thing going on. So it only makes sense that Charlotte Flair comes back, and we haven't decided whether she's a heel or a face, but she's a natural heel. She is her dad in a skirt, 100%. She's a natural heel. So Charlotte coming back, winning, it just tells me that Triple H era, as his wife calls it, the Triple H era or the Paul Levesque era, is working. It was great, fantastic, something unusual. Charlotte coming back, Charlotte winning, even though she had been gone for such a long time, is perfect. That makes a lot of sense. Also, Jey Uso, yeah, it's different. I mean, it's in the name, main event. And so why would he main event? And then I like the fact that he's going to call out Gunther. It puts an emphasis on that other world title that sometimes is ignored. If you watched any WWE product from over the years, it's always the WWE title that kind of gets into the spotlight. and then the world title is kind of like there. I like the fact that first of all, Gunther can wrestle. Like I said, I don't watch as much as I used to, but I do try to go back and catch some of the replays. And now that it's on Netflix, it is a lot easier because it's on demand. It's easier to keep up with, even if I don't do anything but listen to it while I'm traveling, because sometimes traveling back and forth to different gyms where I am, and I get different call ups to different gyms. I'm about an hour away, so now that it's on Netflix, I can listen to it in the car and check it out on the way home. So that's kind of like a good thing. And but Gunther and Jey Uso, I don't know. I mean, I did see that match they had recently, and Uso lost the match. But one thing I always liked about WWE is the storytelling, and so I'm interested in how do we tell that story of Jey Uso calling out Gunther, getting a second shot at the title. I'm interested. It makes me interested. If I wanted, like, honestly, if I want action wrestling, I watch New Japan, because I don't know any of the storylines. I don't know why anybody's fighting, but I do like the moves. Motor City Machine Guns against D. I like that too, with the Street Profits coming in. Again, it's setting up stories for the future. They give you something different. Like Triple H is doing different, and I guess if I keep, talking about Triple H too much, it's because I have been a Triple H fan in the past, so I'm bigging him up. Triple H has done a good job and brought me back into it, because I know for probably 4 years there or so, I just didn't care. I wasn't watching it. I didn't see the relevance. I saw a lot of connection though when WWE and the UFC became stablemates under the same umbrella with TKO, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is it right here. This is starting to make sense, especially from a business perspective, and I guess that's what I really liked the best. I saw that connection, but this storyline makes sense with the Street Profits getting involved. You're talking about 3 teams that can do high performance moves, and then you have the Street Profits that really have the size of big men who do little man things, and then you have DIY and Motor City, who are little guys, relatively speaking. So it's going to make for a fun match when they put that together, a triple threat or something like that. So it made me interested, because I saw Motor City when they first came in. I saw them when they won the titles from the Bloodline guys, and I was like, okay, I liked it and enjoyed it, but where does it go? And then when all of this happened with the DIY guys and the losing of the titles, changing back to them, and then when the Street Profits came in last night, I was like, oh, it's some potential in this. And to be honest, I was not really keen in on tag team wrestling, but I grew up on tag team wrestling. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, that match was bananas, incredibly bananas. I tell you what, I heard the guys on Busted Open say something about the F word, the word fake. Yeah, look, man, I've known a lot of guys who've done MMA, and they switched over to doing pro wrestling, and I've always given them the biggest props ever, because it takes a lot to do some of the stuff that they're doing. It takes a lot, and they put themselves in that situation and not get hurt. It's dangerous stuff, and I respect them in a major way. Huge. No disrespect, none whatsoever. You're running a lot of risk, to do what they're doing. And so when I saw that match with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, man, I was like, oh my God. And the thing is like, it even makes you like who Kevin Owens is. I think I liked him when he first came into WWE, and I think I liked that whole thing that he did when John Cena was doing the open challenge, and it was pretty smooth. I thought it was pretty good, and then that's kind of how I was attracted to him, because I didn't follow him on the Indies, didn't know who he was or anything like that. So I thought it was an incredible situation, perfect for what it was, and that match last night. I'll be honest. If he had won the belt last night, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If Kevin Owens was to walk out the undisputed champion after last night being in a match like that, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. The only thing that would have been a little, little something of a sticky point is the story. The next, how do we continue the story forward? Where would Cody have gone? But that didn't happen. So, got nothing. Now I kind of want to know, like, where does Kevin go, and how does Sami Zayn fit in? And again, that's what I love about what Triple H is doing, is creating these points of curiosity, making you ask that question, like, hey, what's going on here, and why should I care? I care because in some cases I have emotion, in some cases I have just pure curiosity. And look, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
A good martial artist does not become tense but ready, not thinking yet not dreaming, ready for whatever might come. When the opponent expands, I contract. When it contracts, I expand. And when there is an opportunity, I do not hit. It hits all by itself.
All right, so I Fight for It, February 8th. Let me see if I can pull up the I want you to check out their YouTube. Yeah, they are on YouTube. Go to Fight for It YouTube. Also the Fight for It website. I do articles for them, and you can learn a lot more about the fighters. I'm not the only journalist over there. You can learn a lot more about the fighters and what's coming up. And so go and check out some of the latest fights that they just uploaded from the last show. And some of these fighters are on this current show. Some of the recognized names that I like. Addison Henry is in the co-main event taking on Aaron Castro. That's going to be a fun fight. The Paez brothers were looking for a fight for Jacob Paez. His opponent has pulled out. But very, very good fighter. And I look forward to seeing him. Hopefully. He's 6-2. Loves to create something that looks like drama. The guy feeds off. If the guy was a WWE wrestler, man, I can tell you the guy would be a heel. And he would do it well. He would do it well. Let's see here. Last night we saw some UFC fights, and I tell you what, I didn't have a problem with the fights per se, but and except for the first fight, and who was it? Hamdi Abidelwa and Jamal Pogues. I thought Pogues won that fight. I did. I thought Pogues won the fight. I wasn't sure, what the judges were looking at. I thought Pogues won the fight. I thought when he got going with the double jab, that's when he was the most effective, when he started working that double jab. And there's a way to use that double jab to turn it into a jab hook combo, jab cross, back to a hook combo. Would create a lot of options for a big guy with that type of length. I think that was the only one they kind of got wrong of all the ones that went to the decision. I also checked out the fact that we only had 4 finishes out of 11 fights, and 3 fights got dropped for whatever reason. I try not to criticize fighters when fights drop, because there's 110,000 reasons why, and a lot of times we think that they're faking some type of injury, they're not getting paid enough, they are scared or whatever. I'm gonna be honest. I've never personally had to drop out a fight, but I work with fighters especially fighters who've had their opponents drop out, and some of them legitimately were like ill and sick and had diseases that we didn't want to catch and bring back home with us. So we lost some fights, but out of 11 fights, I thought the show was decent. And I tell you what, Terrence McKinney had a finish. Should have, looking at who his opponent was, and the absence from the game, I'm looking at that going, okay, yeah, you should have had that finish. Gaziv, man, beautiful straight right. Let's see who else. These two fights right here, Fares Zayam against Mike Davis. It was a toss-up for me if this should have been the fight of the night, but if you like grappling, that's probably your fight of the night. And if you like two guys that's really going to, get down in the dirt, then Vinicius Oliveira and Saeed Nurmagomedov, that probably was your fight of the night. Of course, the UFC gave them the bonus, but I thought Zayam and Davis could have got an extra bonus in there too. UFC could have threw that in there and said, hey, those guys did really, really well. I enjoyed it. Pavlovich and Rosenstruck, I was like, oh my God. I it's funny when you have guys with that power and you think that they're just going to go in there and clang and bang. You think that it's going to be that simple. And it's not. It's just not that simple. I'm above against Israel Adesanya. I don't know, man. I felt like Izzy's been gone. Like after the Sean Strickland loss, I just like he's not there anymore. And then you saw the Duplessis loss. I was like almost confirming to myself like he's not there anymore. It's not in his head. He's not a part of the game. And I felt like it's just something changed now. And so I don't know. I don't know what's going to take for him to get back on track. But I just feel like there's a point where we're not going to want to keep seeing this. We're not going to keep like the him being dominated or either finished off and relatively, it's like it's gone from 5-round dominance. Then he was submitted in 4 rounds, and now he's done in 2. It's like it's just the signs are there. The signs are there, and you don't know what to do about it because like you can say, well, maybe he needs a sports psychologist. I don't know. Maybe he needs to take more time off. Maybe he needs to address if he really does have like injuries and things of that nature. Whatever's going on with him, it really needs to be addressed. And whatever he thinks it is not the root cause. He's got to get down to the root cause. What's causing him to not perform at such a high level, man? Because he's likable as a fighter. I don't know about the person because like it's like John Jones. Some of the qualities kind of go in and out for me, but likable as a fighter, definitely. Michael Page against Shara Bullet, man. Oh my God, that was a fun fight. Especially if you like, I like when sword masters try to share the same blade. Like they're both trying to be fast. They're one-hitter quitters, and it just came out to where Michael Page was just a little bit different. And it's everybody says it. It says Michael Page's speed is just a different level. And we saw that his speed is different. Even if you wanted Shara Bullet to win, you just wish that initiate a takedown, get close to this guy, because we've seen where when Page can have too long of an engagement, he can get hit, or if he can be taken down, he can be controlled. When it comes to like this is a guy that I want to be my future UFC champion one day. Those are types. That's the type of expectation you have. Like, don't fall in love with one way of fighting. Go ahead and get this job done. That's what a lot of people were hoping and praying. It didn't happen. I hope he learns from that. I've watched too many fighters over the years with my time in the game where you spend too much time trying to fight a certain style. You have to get away from fighting a certain style. You've got to really get in there and fight what's working for you. Let's see here. What else we did? We had boxing, some boxing. We had Morrell taking on uh, Benavides, and it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think the most important part about that fight was you had uh, you had a real high output when it comes to that fight. The output in terms of the volume, uh, the defense was so good between these guys because I don't think they were really hurting each other as much as they could have hurt each other. Both of these guys had very good defenses that wouldn't allow for uh, a lot of openings, but some of the shots they got in were very specific, and I think it was just about. I'm not even gonna say they were calculated or they were strategic. It was just like, you know what, I'm gonna throw a ton of volume, and I'm gonna hit something. And then while I'm doing it, I'm going to back you up and try to intimidate you. This was definitely a fight where two guys stood in front of one another and were trying to intimidate one another. And that was the basic feel of the whole match. It was just like, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to make you back down. I am the bull in this ring. And, both men fought from that perspective. And I think the Benavides going to the body made for the difference. For in that fight, it was I think it said that he was like he doubled the output compared to Morrell, and that was the difference in the fight. Whereas Morrell's most of his shots were going toward the head, even though he had a lot of volume. I don't think he was paying attention to the fact that Benavides' hands were up in a relatively good fashion, relative to normally what you would get from a power puncher. Sometimes when a guy's too offensive, they do have those openings because they're not as defensive responsible. But in this particular case, it just was not the case. And I don't know if his corner picked up on it and decided you needed to make the change, or they felt like what he was doing was fine. When I look at the volume of the fight, so I have my own way of calculating output when it comes to boxing matches. So a lot of times in what the punch CompuBox people will do is very similar to old school Olympic Taekwondo. I don't know what Olympic Taekwondo does now, but it used to be where you have three people and they have to hit a certain button within a certain amount of time to determine whether something was a strike or not. And I'm not saying that works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying that you could two judges could be like saying yes and another one saying no, one saying yes, two saying no, and you may get some conflict. I like to look at a strike with a step or a turn. If you step forward or you turn with intention and it has that pop behind it, that is a strike. Because there were 2 rounds where I think me and CompuBox were different of about 30 to 40 strikes at certain points. And I had the overall fight where both men were throwing somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 1,600 altogether, and they had not 1,600 but 1,400, and CompuBox had them going at about 1,153, just short of 1,200. And so we were different, roughly about 150, 160 strikes. And I think just some of the rounds that they just did not count them, and I couldn't believe that they couldn't count them, because I'm like, I don't know the criteria for them. What is a strike? Or it doesn't have to land. I'm just talking about output. There were several moments when Morrell was backing up and Benavides was coming forward, and Morrell was throwing the shots. Although he was backing up, they were creating threat, and I think threat is very important in terms of, like, when you throw the strike and the person is responding to it, he's reacting to it, you have to say that strike meant something. Whether it landed or not, it meant something. Think about the Sonny Liston fight when Ali stepped back and throws the cross and it lands and Sonny Liston goes down. So I'm just going to have to investigate a little further to see, like, what is your criteria for what a strike is or isn't, because the output in that fight was much greater than what the CompuBox final stats show, because it would show that some of these guys or that these guys were averaging just under 100 punches around. I had them well above 100 punches around, easily, which is good for boxing, because when you see men this size, they're fighting for the light heavy title, or you see guys this big being able to fight at that level. It creates an expectation that it makes you go back and think about, man, then I would love to see what Beterbiev and Bivol are going to look like in this second fight they have coming up. And I would definitely want to see how Benavidez fits into the picture fighting one of those guys. It makes you think about, all right, heavyweight sandbagging, could they be doing a lot more? Yeah, man. I think if you really try and you get down to it and you get into some shape, man, you could do so much more with your size. So much more. And I would love to see that. I would love to see that with some of the bigger guys in terms of what they do in this type of fighting. It would be amazing. It would be super awesome. Looking at what else? I think that's all that. I didn't watch any other pro wrestling. There was a Tough Man online. Somebody was posting a Tough Man. They were at a Tough Man contest locally. It was what it was, and I remember seeing the advertisement that came out maybe 2 days ago saying we want really tough guys, bad men, bad women, no pros, no experienced amateurs. And from the video that I saw, that's exactly what they got. But the one thing that I saw was it had a decent crowd. And when you look at all of these shows, what are you seeing is a lot of people are showing up, turning out for these things. Like I said, I got sick on Friday, and I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere this weekend. I missed out on Toro Cup. As soon as my bank accounts are unfrozen, I'm going to go back and get the stream. I heard it was nothing but a success for Toro Cup. Shout out to Cage Side, who recently supported one of my events. So I hope it went well. I saw a lot of my friends posting about their matches. Looks like they had success. And that's all that matters, is that the fighters had opportunity to do something and that they actually had fun. What else did trying to see what else? Toro Cup. We had Tough Man. We had tons of boxing, tons of MMA. There was one show in I want to say it was Germany, and Octagon MMA, I think. I don't know the number of the show, but reports are coming in that they did some 60,000 for the MMA show. Royal Rumble had close to, it was somewhere between, I'm going to give it 65,000 as an average, because I heard the number 60, I heard the number 70,000, but I'm going to go with the average and say 65,000, which is still like WrestleMania numbers. That's crazy that combat sports is doing that right now. Combat sports is really picking up, and all fighters have to do is ride the wave. Just jump into the water, ride that wave, go where it's going right now. It's going in a great direction. And when I get to talk to Jason McGinnis tomorrow from Fight for It, because Jason's a little bit behind the scenes more than I am. He's closer to the owner, Jonathan. And so I'm going to try to get it out of him, like, what does the overall landscape look like for mixed martial arts as a whole, in terms of what are we doing in the Southeast region? What are we doing well? What needs to improve? Because I believe in that logic of rising tides lifts all boats. I want to see all the companies do well. I want to see every fighter get every fight that they're looking for, and competitive fights. competitive fights, because I think if you're trying to go to the higher organizations, the one thing you need is competitive fights and not easy fights. And maybe if that conversation between he and I work out, maybe down the line I can get Marcelo on, the matchmaker. I can get Jonathan on, the owner. And I'm going to take the audio from this and put it on the podcast, since I missed out on Friday. So for you guys who follow me on that, you'll get that. And like I said, this new venture into doing live stuff, I don't know where in my schedule I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make an effort. I think that's all I got, So finish this out with some commercials. But I am Coach Cess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.
A good martial artist does not become tense, but ready. Not thinking yet, not dreaming. Ready for whatever might come. When the opponent expands, I contract. When it contracts, I expand. And when there is an opportunity, I do not hit. It hits all by itself.
Valhalla Combat Academy, Southern Pines' #1 choice for Jiu-Jitsu, self-defense, MMA. Unlock your full potential. Experience premier Jiu-Jitsu and MMA training for all ages. Whether you're a beginner or looking to refine your skills, we offer a world-class training environment tailored to help you grow. Meet our head instructor Trey Pace. Where passion meets professionalism, Trey combines mastery in Jiu-Jitsu with a wealth of special forces experience to teach technical excellence, mental resilience, and adaptability. His goal: to help you succeed on and off the mat. Valhalla Combat Academy, 1405 Central Drive, Southern Pines, North Carolina, 28387. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. Join today or learn more. Take the first step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Welcome to Sanford Black Belt Leadership Academy, a premier destination for individuals of all ages and skill levels to embark on a transformative journey through the world of martial arts. With a deep-rooted passion for martial arts and a commitment to excellence, our studio offers a nurturing and empowering environment where students can develop not only their physical abilities, but also their mental strength and character. We believe that martial arts is not just about learning self-defense techniques, but is also a way of life, centered around fostering personal growth, discipline, respect, and resilience. Call 919-777-6913. Email us at info@sanfordbbla.com or visit us in person at 1716 Westover Drive, Sanford, North Carolina.